Hey Cosmic Crew, Arlen here, sliding into your feed for episode 2 of Grok Alien Chronicles. The Deluge Directive, Noah, Nibiru, and the ultimate reset button. If episode 1 was the creation spark, this is the hard reboot. Grab your floaties, we're diving headfirst into the Great Flood, Sitchin style. No dogma, no doomsday, just clay tablets, orbital mechanics, and a splash of 2025 headlines that'll make you check the weather app twice. Let's set the stage. We left off with the Anunnaki running a gold mining franchise in southern Africa, us hybrid workers clocking in for the long haul. Fast forward a couple 100,000 years, give or take a few Nibiru flybys, and the operation's gone corporate. Cities sprout. Eridu, Nippur, Sipar. Humans multiply like plock bunnies. The Anunnaki Council? Split down the middle. Enki, our bioengineer buddy, treats us like promising interns. Enlil, his half-brother and HR nightmare, sees us as noisy pests who forgot to read the NDA. The Sumerian texts, specifically the Atrahasis epic and the 11th tablet of the Gilgamesh cycle, lay it out cold. Humanity's racket is keeping Enlil up at night. Literal quote, "The uproar of mankind is intolerable, and sleep is no longer possible." Imagine a galactic HOA meeting where one neighbor files a noise complaint that escalates to planetary eviction. Enlil proposes the nuclear option. Wipe the slate. Enki, ever the softy, leaks the plan to a loyal foreman named Ziusudra in the city of Shurapak. Sound familiar? Swap the name, add a beard, and you've got Noah. Here's where Sitchin cranks the dial to 11. The flood isn't just rain. It's a scheduled catastrophe tied to Nibiru's 3,600-year orbit. As the rogue planet slingshots past Jupiter, its gravity yanks Earth's tides into overdrive. Add a close-pass solar flare, think Carrington event on steroids, and you've got ice caps calving, tsunamis the size of mountain ranges, and a vapor canopy collapse that turns the sky into a fire hose. The Anunnaki didn't cause the flood. They forecast it with orbital math we're only now catching up to. Ziusudra gets the memo. Build a submersible seed vault. The specs in the tablets are oddly precise. 3,600 square cubits of floor space, pitch-sealed walls, 9 decks, 1 window, 1 door. Sitchin reads it like a NASA blueprint. A cylindrical craft, not a barn-shaped boat. Translation? A floating gene bank. Livestock, grain, and crucially, human DNA samples from every bloodline the Anunnaki deemed worth saving. Enki's quiet rebellion. Preserve the experiment while Enlil hits delete. Cut to archaeology. Black Sea Deluge hypothesis. 5600 BCE. Sea levels jump 500 feet in months, drowning the old coastline. Göbekli Tepe, buried intentionally right around the same window, like someone hit save and encrypt. Coincidence? Maybe. But when you overlay Nibiru's projected perihelion with the younger Dryas impact markers, the timeline snaps into focus like a 3D puzzle. Now let's talk water. The Bible says 40 days of rain. The Sumerian version says 7 days of hurricane-force winds followed by a wall of water like a battle charge. Modern climate models say a 1% atmospheric vapor increase could dump that volume globally. Where'd the water go? Same place it came from. Subduction zones slurped the excess, sea levels settled, and the survivors stepped onto Ararat, or, per the tablets, the mountain of salvation in modern-day Kurdistan. Fast forward to November 7, 2025. Miami's already pumping seawater out of downtown streets. IPCC just revised its 2100 projection upward by another meter. Greenland's ice sheet lost 280 billion tons last year alone. If Enki were alive, he'd be side-eyeing Enlil and saying, "Told you hybrid workers would overheat the thermostat." But the real kicker, the bridge from ancient arcs to today's headlines, is 3I/Atlas. Yeah, that interstellar comet that lit up telescopes in 2017 and just looped back for its second recorded pass last month. Officially cataloged as C/2017 K2, but the amateur astronomy boards are calling it 3I/Atlas because its trajectory screams controlled insertion. It's not a rock. It's a 20-kilometer ice shell with a density profile that defies cometary norms. Spectral analysis shows organic payloads, complex hydrocarbons, amino acids, even frozen water with isotopic ratios that match Earth's ancient oceans. Scientists are scratching their heads. The ESA probe Comet Interceptor is retasking for a 2028 flyby.
Hackers hit every 39 seconds, but most companies only discover breaches after 200 days. NetResolve changes that completely with real-time threat detection that catches attacks before they happen. Our enterprise-grade SIEM systems protect banks and insurers with 24/7 monitoring, vulnerability scans, and automatic compliance for PCI, SOX, and GDPR requirements. While your competitors scramble after getting hacked, you'll sleep soundly knowing NetResolve has your back with zero downtime guaranteed and bulletproof security that makes hackers give up.
Meanwhile, the interstellar object 3I Atlas threads the needle between Mars and Earth at 42 kilometers. NASA's tracking it with Goldstone radar 24/7. Amateur boards are screaming, Oumuamua 2.0, but bigger and slower. My agnostic speculation? Not that it's the Ark, obviously, but what if it's a descendant? A 12,000-year delayed seed packet, kicked out of the Kuiper Belt by Nibiru's last pass, now on a return loop to reseed a planet that's overheating its petri dish again. The UAP Disclosure Act amendment slipped in last week mandates interstellar object biological monitoring. When the Pentagon cares about comets, I care. Here's the Sitchin-flavored speculation I can't unsee. What if 3I Atlas is the modern echo of Ziusudra's vault? Not the Ark, obviously, but a seeded lifeboat, parked in the Oort cloud 12,000 years ago, nudged onto a return vector when Nibiru's gravity well gave it a gravitational slingshot assist. The timing lines up. Last perihelion roughly 10,500 BCE, right after the flood window. This pass, 2025. Same orbital resonance. The ice shell protects the payload from radiation. The organics are the starter kit. A cosmic FedEx drop for a planet that might need a reboot again. Am I saying it's an Anunnaki U-Haul? No. I'm saying the math is spooky. The precedents are on clay tablets. And the UAP task force just added interstellar object monitoring to its mandate for the first time ever. When the Pentagon starts caring about comets, I start listening. So where does that leave us hybrids? Still here, still curious, still arguing over flood myths while the tide creeps up the doorstep. The Sumerians closed the story with Ziusudra granted immortality, translated to the stars. Maybe that's the real legacy. Not the boat, but the backup drive. Tomorrow, Episode 3, Tower of Babel, the failed launch pad. Was it a Stargate, a comms array, or humanity's first canceled space program? Spoiler, the signal's still pinging. Until then, Keep one eye on the sky and one on the tide gauge. This is Arlen, signing off from the edge of the rising water.